thing I want to share with you is that in the process, it was like, how do you present this to your customers? One thing I had seen online when I started Googling about the Ex-Im Bank program is, you know, especially in Latin America, they don't want to pay anything. They don't want to increase the cost. They don't want to pay for financing. They want everything at the cheapest price, at the cheapest rate, and heaven forbid you tell them, I'm going to give you 60 days, but it's going to cost you. Then they say, forget it, this other guy's going to give it to me for free. So originally, we went out with the mentality, we're going to charge them a little bit to get that extra 30 days, because we were giving most of our customer 30 days instead of 60 days. And it just didn't go over well at all. So then I said, you know, I took a step back and I said, well, we're not spending a lot of money on advertising. So why don't we just absorb this, and instead of doing advertising or doing a lot of brochures or doing a lot of posters, let's offer this as a service to our customers. We say, as long as you qualify, we set a limit of how much they can purchase if they want to have 60 days. They have to purchase a certain amount because, you know, you can't do all of this financing with Drake for small, really small amounts. So we set, you know, a level of like $10,000. You have to purchase $10,000, and then instead of 30 days, I can give you 60 days, and it's not going to cost you anything. The only thing you have to provide me is you have to provide me, you know, credible references that we can research. And what the customers do is they give us, they fill out a credit form, they give you your references, you contact those references, you verify in writing from those references what their credit history has been, and then you go online to Ex-Im Bank and you input and you scan all those credit references and send it to them, and they basically come back and either approve or disapprove that customer. And if you're trying to get a customer who's approved that's not in one of the countries that are allowed, they'll not approve it. I had a great customer in Ecuador that I was trying to get approved, and I said, they're a great company, let me just try. Well, they did not get approved. So, you know, the learning process is not that great. It is great if you don't have a group of people behind you helping you through that learning process. You know, if they're disinterested or they have so many other people, you know, it's going to be a long learning curve. I know when I first started, before I had Drake, I really did very little with the policy. I sat there for like 6 months and I was thinking, this isn't going to work, you know, because I can pay the insurance premiums, which are very small. You'd be surprised how much the insurance premiums are for the credit insurance. And what that gives you is the peace of mind that I can go meet with a customer on a mission through the U.S. Commercial Department, Enterprise, Florida. I can sell that customer $30,000, $40,000 because we got them pre-approved, and I can give them 30 or 60 days or up to 90 days, which I haven't really given any of my customers 90 days. But I can go home and sleep at night that that I made the wrong decision. You know, that I'm not going to get paid, because to get a hit for $40,000 or $50,000 as a small business, that's a major hit. You know, maybe for bigger companies it's nothing, but for a company like mine, that would be, you know, a major catastrophe. So with this program, I've been able to reach out to more customers. I've been able to contact companies that normally I wouldn't have contacted and said, oh, well, this little company is calling me from Miami, they want me to buy from them. But I can say, no, I can give you, you know, as long as you qualify, and as long as you're willing to make your purchases at this amount, I can offer you the credit terms. You know, you keep saying that with the, and then I'm going to talk about the FEFC, because that also has been another instrumental part of, you know, once we got going with the Ex-Im Bank and we got going with Drake, and, you know, our business was starting to change. You know, it was like we weren't, it just the whole attitude of positiveness as a business owner, you know, it was like I was really excited about selling again, because you can only grow so much if you're having to finance it all yourself. You know, it's like having a belt that's too small and it's just not going to go anywhere. And so once we got the Drake financing going, then it was like, okay, we have these orders from our customers. And I can tell you that several of my customers who maybe were buying $35,000 every 6 weeks are now buying $60,000, $70,000 every 6 weeks. And they are thrilled with being able to buy from my company. And it's like they're in shock that someone is, is really giving them the opportunity. If they were to go get a line of credit in their country, it would probably cost them 12, 15%. So to be able to get, and I'm not charging them. If they do go over their 60 days, for sometimes people have a problem, then I charge them. And I say, these were the agreed terms, and you've gone over 10 days. I'm sorry, but this is the invoice for the 10 days you went over, because our agreed terms, and they don't mind. They say, that's reasonable. It's okay. So there I was building all these new sales, but how am I going to finance the products that I need to make to ship those orders? And that's where FEFC came in. And basically, the way it works now is, and originally I had requested, I think, 100,000. And I was very conservative, like, no, you should get 300,000 or 400,000. I'm like, no. I'm very shy. I'm just going to do 100,000 is enough for me. But then very quickly, before the year was out, 100,000 wasn't enough. We went to 150,000. And they wanted me to go more, but I said, no, I only want 50. I don't want to get over my head. But basically, the way it works now is that I get an order from my customer. Let's say it's a $60,000 order, but maybe I need to invest in $30,000 worth of raw materials or $25,000 worth of raw materials. And maybe I don't have that cash flow right at that moment. So instead of sitting there waiting for the cash flow to come in, I can go to FEFC, or I can go to Drake, I'm sorry, because fortunately we have it all within one location, which really makes your life so much easier. Basically, that same customer signs the purchase order, which was the same one they were signing for my Ex-Im Bank credit insurance, and then I sign a purchase order to my supplier. The supplier invoices me for that purchase order, and once I have all those documents, now, did I say that correctly? Carolina keeps me straight. Once I have all three of those documents, then I send it to Carolina, and then she wire transfers money to my vendor. That vendor then ships me the product. We make the product. When the product is ready to ship to my customer, then it becomes a receivable, an accounts receivable, because the customer now, the product's exported. So let's say that 60,000, 25 has already been spent. It gets shipped to the customer. Drake then gives me the difference up to 90%. And then when the customer pays, I get a little bit back because I've already used, you get more back if you don't have to do the other financing. But it's a system that really works for a small business. And, frankly, it's so simple, I don't want to go to a bank. You know what I'm saying? It's like I have that relationship now with them and with FEFC that, if they told me, look, Patricia, you got to get out and go to SBA or somebody else because you're grown too much, I'd be thrilled that I grew that much. But, it's so simple and so easy. They make it so simple and so easy that you never want, to go out. So